So imagine this. You just got done binge watching James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, and while you're wiping tears after finally understanding what the Tree Man was saying, you start to wonder, why haven't they tried making a game about these guys? I mean, they do share perfect chemistry with each other and the dynamic looks fun, but then you remember the last time a superhero co-op game was made, and you quickly realize that it probably wouldn't work. Until you do a little research and find out the same people who made that pile of garbage actually made a Guardians of the Galaxy game, and it's pretty damn good. Hello guys and fanboys, welcome to the 4th episode of Underrated, the series where we go through each year of gaming and choose which game is the most underrated game of that year. And in this episode we are taking a look at the year 2021. So we all know what happened in 2020. Marvel was at the top of every chart, dominating the box office. Live service games were around and popular, at least among companies, and Insomniac's Spider-Man was a success. So they thought, why not bring it all together, thus giving us Marvel's Avengers, a game that had everybody hyped up from 2017 but ended up being a slap to the face to all of us. It just didn't deliver on the promises it gave us. Bad story, bad gameplay, live service elements, and whoever the fuck these guys are. They all made this game fall flat on its head. I still don't understand how they fucked this one up. It looked like such a low-hanging fruit. As you can imagine, no one liked the game. I don't even know if it's still alive or not. But Square Enix wasn't ready to give up. They called up Eidos Montreal and told them to start cooking. And they absolutely cooked. Although the last superhero game didn't really perform, a year after that disaster, Square Enix brought us Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Making this game was not an easy job. Besides the fact that they had to somehow clean up Marvel's Avengers mess, they tried using their game engine that helped them build Deus Ex one last time. The Dawn engine was a game engine based on IO Interactive's Glacier engine, which was a perfect choice for games that wanted to have great scenery. You can see it on the screen, they knocked it out of the park with this world design. Using a homemade engine gave this game a soul, a unique identity which was absolutely needed for this game. The problem though was that Dawn engine was hard to maintain. It was costing a lot, and with the game not performing well on sale, Eidos Montreal switched to Unreal Engine 5 after their last dance with the Guardians. Although the game took over $130 million to make, I still believe it was worth the trouble. The game looks stunning and alive. They knew what they were cooking. I just wish they showed us more before the release. The first time we got to see the Guardians was on June 13th, 2021. Mind you, the game was released on October 21st. They pushed the game a total amount of 4 times in the span of 4.5 months, with the launch trailer coming out 2 weeks before the official release. The first trailer was shown at the Square Enix Presents showcase. It was a game reveal showing off Star-Lord's design and positioning the game as an alternative to Marvel's Avengers. Then in August they put out a developer insight video and showed off the mechanical side of the game with DLSS and ray tracing. Again, nothing to push the story of the game and just showing off. And then on October 12th, the launch trailer came around, which gave everyone hope for the game, showing the combat system, the story, the character interactions, which were all impressive parts of the game that should have been showed to gamers a lot sooner. Then until the release day, it was just social media pushes. That's too little of marketing for a game with this type of scale and funding. The worst part is they made everyone think this game was gonna be a shit live service game, just like Marvel's Avengers. But still, the trailers got so many people hyped. In my opinion, a project from Marvel should always have good marketing, no matter how bad or good it is. Dude, you're Marvel, a billion-dollar company. You absolutely can afford to put your shit all over the media. If you have a game built this good, people not knowing you released it should not happen at all. The reason I'm so pissed off by this is these guys really wanted this game to be good. When asked about any plans for DLCs, they said that they wanted the game to be complete day one. No cash grab, no live service, no DLC outfits. Bro, they cared. This is exactly what we need in the gaming industry. The passion has become a business more than a hobby. And one time some people try to give love to players, they don't get recognition or a big marketing. That's what gives this type of developers no hope to continue doing their good job. This game was an absolute masterpiece. Easily top 3 in the superhero genre. I mean, just to give you an idea of how deeply meaningful they made it, I can tell you that this 20-hour game has 56 references to comics and the MCU. Choosing the 80s rock and roll was the best possible idea of soundtrack I've seen for a superhero game. I mean, just listen to these, bro. Now, let me tell you about the story. It's a good one here. As always, I'm not gonna spoil the whole game for you. It's just the start of it so you can experience most of this amazing world yourself. The game kicks off as you live one of Peter Quill's memories. One where he's still a kid on Earth living with his mother, and the day you're seeing is his birthday. Although we don't get to see a lot of this memory, you'll get back to it in the future and you can follow along with it. But for now, this guy wakes you up. You then fly out to a restricted area to find a creature and capture it to sell for some profit. Firstly, you need to put down some thumpers to locate the so-called beast. And as you go around this beautiful place and experience the dialogue exchanges between the team members, Rocket and Peter start to have a little competition to see who can shoot down more of these. But then, this happens.
Quill, you okay?
Yeah, it's just... Man.
Well, that's concerning.
As you go through waves of enemies, you'll get to have more control over the team and act as a leader in many different ways. Even in doing puzzles, you'll have to call for one of the team members. All of these actions that you do gives you the feeling of truly being Star-Lord. I am gonna talk about these mechanics in length a little bit later. When you place the last thumper down, suddenly you're attacked by the beast. Shoot down these crates.
Slow down's gonna help. What the flark is that?
Definitely not a monster.
Adorable. It's more matted than an Asgardian goat.
We cannot present this pathetic creature to the monster queen of Sector 9. She will laugh at us.
Maybe we can use it as bait.
I knew those thumpers wouldn't work.
You guys seeing what I'm seeing?
Yes. Now that is a monster.
Enough with the warm-up. Time to catch us a real monster. Let's get paid.
What in hell's name is that?
Definitely not cleaner bots.
Watch it!
The whole place is crapping out. We gotta get out of here, now!
After you escape whatever that was, you're caught by the Nova Corps. Turns out, we know the captain of this ship, although it doesn't really matter in this situation. As we are getting arrested, we meet this young lady, who's the daughter of the captain, and she's the one arresting us. But in the middle of everything, the ship gets attacked. and we're stuck with this little girl to find a way up. On the way, with some dialogue choices, we get to know more and more about her, which begs the question for Peter if she's his child because she's 12 and 12 years ago he banged that thing. Long story short, we get fined for 12,000 units, which is quite a lot of money. The only solution we got is coming from Drax, suggesting we sell either Rocket or Groot to a warrior and beast collector called Lady Hellbender. After some disagreements, the team finally gives in to the idea and you go to meet Lady Hellbender. You do get the chance to choose which one of these guys to sell, but ultimately it doesn't matter as Lady Hellbender won't like the idea and chaos begins, and the team gets locked in one of her safes which they steal from and eventually break free. After all that happened, the only thing left for them to do was get back to the ship and pay their fine, so they're out of trouble. But as soon as they arrive, they find the ship empty. Where did everyone go? And that's a question for you to find the answer to. At this point in the video, I'll have a little deep dive into some pros and cons of the game, and boy do I have things to say. The combat? Phenomenal. It's art, the way they made this combat system. You need to use everything in your power to fight enemies. You need to call for help from teammates, you need to defeat some enemies with certain abilities that other team members have, and it just gives you the right feeling of being a leader and choosing the right move for the right time. The upgrades are simple but meaningful, same as the skills you unlock, which are basically new abilities. But the highlight for me is the huddle up option, which makes the team have a motivational talk in the middle of any fight, and you have to convince them to keep fighting, and if you do it right, all of you get power-ups, and some of the best soundtracks you can hear just starts playing. The nice thing about this is that at the start of the game, the team loses their confidence and you have to give them hope. But as you go on and become more powerful, the team gets arrogant and you have to make them work with each other. And this dynamic is one of the best things I've ever seen. The little things like every teammate knowing what to do when you reach a certain puzzle without you having to command it as the story progresses and the team gets closer to each other. And the music in this game is just a work of someone with great taste. The 80s rock and roll is just perfect for the setting and it hits so hard. Just look at how they made these sceneries look even more beautiful with some tunes. The game looks stunning. The only bad thing I can say about it is the enemy variety at the start, but that's kinda justified as you're on the same planet for that part and it is a little slower than the rest of the game, so I'll give it a pass. So if you like Marvel or the Guardians or even this sexy thing, you should dive into this game and the world they built in it head first. Because as always in AAA, we value your time and do our best to give you games that will treat you the way you deserve.